Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. Today we will discuss about the fourth poem of the book Flamingo and that's title is A Thing of Beauty. This poem is composed by John Keats. So the very first we will see about the poet then about the poem. Explanation of the poem. So let's start. The poet John Keats was born in Moorgate, now is called Finsbury in London on 31st October 1795. His father Thomas Keats was a stable keeper and his mother was Frances Keats. If I will talk about his education, so he got his early education from John Clark's School, Anfield and Guy's Hospital, London. He was a surgeon, so he took his surgeon's degree from a hospital, Guy's Hospital, London. If I will talk about his love affairs, so in his lifespan, he was engaged with two females. The very first was Isabella Jones and Fanny Browne. Occupation, romantic poet of younger generation. The romantic poet is divided into two parts, romantic poets, and the second is the younger generation of romantic poets, in which three poets are included. John Keats was among them. He was died in Rome on 23rd February 1821 at the age of 25 years 4 months, and he was buried in Protestant Cemetery, Rome. If I will talk about this poem, that this poem is taken from which, so this poem has been taken from his masterpiece, and you can say that this poem is the opening line of this masterpiece. That title was Endymion, which was published in 1818. The poem written in a rhyming couplet. It means it is written in iambic pentameters, also known as heroic couplets. Begins with the line, "A thing of beauty is joy forever." This is the collection of 4 books. The story spreads for the 4 books. Endymion is the hero of this, and these are the opening lines which are given in your syllabus as for study. The poem is a long narrative in 4 parts that deals with the Greek myth of love of the moon goddess Cynthia for a Greek shepherd Endymion. Endymion meets these pairs of loves in his complete lifespan, which is described the life of Endymion. So he meets to Venus and Adonis, Glaucus and Celia, and Arethusa and Alphonse. In the preface, Keats writes about Endymion that Endymion not a deed accomplished, but only as an unsuccessful attempt to suggest the underlying beauty of Greek mythology. The poem consists of 4 books and is the most valuable work of John Keats, which is composed in 450 lines, was published around April 27, 1818 as a separate publication and with the subtitle A Poetic Novel. Endymion is a brain-sick shepherd prince of Mount Latimus. So it is something about the poet and about the background of the poem, A Thing of Beauty, from where it has been taken. Now we will discuss about the central idea, explanation of the poem. So let's start. The poem starts, the opening lines are, "A thing of beauty is joy forever, its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothing less, but will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing." The poet speaks of the permanent nature of beautiful things which give us eternal joy. Their loveliness keeps on increasing and never fades away. The sight of beautiful things is stored in our memory forever. They give us peace, just like a quiet shady place gives us a sleep full of sweet dreams. A sound sleep results in the good health of our body and mind as it provides us tranquility and mental peace. The next lines are, "Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble nature, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and or darkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shapes of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. The explanation of these lines are that when we wake up the next morning after a sound sleep, all the beautiful memories of our sweet dreams help us to strengthen our bond with earth. That is why the poet feels that every morning we prepare a wreath of flowers that binds us to the earth more strongly. Hopelessness, sadness, and lack of novel ways are a part of human life. Life is full of trials and tribulations, lost faith and disappointments which result from our own doings. We harm ourselves by following unhealthy and wicked paths, but in spite of all this, some wonderful sights of nature help us to shed sad and grim thoughts. They remove the veil of gloom, bringing about hope and optimism in our lives. So this was the explanation of this. So let's see the third stanza, which starts from such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon from simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Giants, the hot season, the mid forest break rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. For at the time of explaining these lines, we can say that the poet now goes on to list these objects of beauty. He says that the sun, the moon, old and young trees which provides shade to sheep, the daffodils, the greenery surrounding them, the cool and clear streams which provide respite in the heat of summer, and the bushes growing in the forest with musk rose bloomings amidst them are all eternal source of joy and pleasure. In the concluding lines are, let's see, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heavens brink. So in these lines the poet adds on further to his list. According to him, there is beauty even in death. He finds beauty in imaginary stories people have made about our dead ancestors who were deemed as heroic and mighty. The poet goes on to say that all the lovely tales that we have heard can also be placed among such things of beauty, as they have a sublime effect on the human spirit. All beautiful things are like an endless fountain from the heavens, sent by God Himself, so that mankind may enjoy these precious gifts. So this was the explanation of the poem. In my next video related to this poem, I will provide you the poetic devices and you can say gist or central idea of the poem. Till then, stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you all of you.